Okay, so the Gemara tells us as follows, that there were three great men, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. They went ahead and they jumped into the fiery furnace. Why did they do that? Okay, how did they know that they were supposed to do that? So the Gemara says that they learned out a limud from this week's parsha. It says in the Torah that the frogs went ahead and they jumped into the ovens. So they said, hey, the frogs are not humans. They're not commanded in the mitzvah to sanctify, God's name. They're frogs. But yet they had jumped into the fiery ovens. So we're going to jump into the fiery furnace because we're no less than the frogs. We're more than the frogs. And we have the mitzvah to sanctify God's name. That is the Gemara in Psachim 53. Shagazaya asked, I don't understand the Gemara. The pasuk says not that way. The pasuk says that if you learn the Psachim tree, or anybody that's watching it, the pasuk says to Farish that part of the commandment was that the frogs were going to go into the ovens. So what do you mean they weren't commanded to go into the ovens? That's the Shagazaya's kasha. So apparently they're going to go and answer the acute answer. You know what they could have done? Yeah, the pasuk says a whole list of places that they were supposed to go, but not that each frog had to go into all of the places. The chief frogs could have let the lower frogs. Okay, Dow, you go in the oven. Mikey, you go in the dungeon. You go into that dangerous place, right? You can do all of Tom Cruise's stunts. Mission Impossible, right? But I'm gonna go into the house. I'm gonna go into the bed,
pantry.
I'm gonna go lay down with Yankel with his clothes. I'm going to have a good time. And you go ahead and do all the dangerous stuff. That's what they could have done, says the Gaon. It doesn't say that they did that. So it's mashma that they all went into even the dangerous places. And therefore the Kavachoim and the Limud is still there. Because just like the frogs were not commanded to go into the ovens, meaning they could have gotten away with it by sending the other frogs into the ovens. But yet it doesn't say that they did that. They went ahead into the ovens and to all the dangerous places. And they put their lives at risk to sanctify God's name. So we have a great limud, says the Gemara, says the Gaon to explain the Gemara, to answer Shagazaya's kasha, that we have a great limud, that we have to sanctify God's name by doing mitzvot, even if it's difficult for us. We have a great limud that we learn from the frogs. Shabbat shalom.